I see that you picked up something that I said to you yesterday, who died and left us boss. Yes, we don't have any right, Bob, to go in and dictate to these other countries. But at the same time, we certainly have a right and a moral right to dictate that you can't beat Mary. You're trying to say...
It's none of your damn business.
Oh, yes, it is.
No, it's
That's
not.
Another human
it's none
being.
of your damn business. I'll do whatever I want to do.
You don't have any right to do that.
None of your damn... What do you mean I don't have any right? Who the hell are you to tell me what to do?
You don't have any right. You don't have any right whatsoever.
Oh, you're the right giver? You're the right giver?
You don't have any right. You're inflicting pain on another human being.
That's none of your damn business.
You don't have a right to do that.
That's none of your damn business.
Oh, it is my business.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a human being.
I'll beat up anybody I want to beat up.
You have no right.
And you just keep your damn nose out of it.
You have no right to do that because that's a fellow human being.
Oh,
that is not showing
so you're
compassion.
in charge of fellow human beings now, are you?
That's not showing compassion on
Get
the
off
other side.
my phone, you jerk. 12:59. Yourself, you will set a good example, and other people will start being good.
Don't you think isn't that a little bit like communism?
Communism?
Yes.
Oh, I see. You don't like the idea, so it's communistic.
Right.
Yeah, right. Bye. Oh, communism. Oh, it's a different idea. It must be communism. Oh, gee whiz, be nice to people. You know, share what you got. See to it that nobody goes without basic human needs. Oh, communism. Nancy and Jay in Clearwater. Hi, TJ. You're on the air at WFLA.
Bob?
Yeah?
You know, I didn't think I'd see the day where I'd disagree with you. I agree with most of the things that you have said. I'm very disturbed about the fact that you would say that it's no one's business when, you know, a husband beats his wife. Now,
maybe she deserved it. I mean, you know, who are you?
Oh, no. Wait a minute. No one deserves the beating. You know,
well,
I'm very surprised you would say that.
The point is, I mean, I also called for nonviolence, but the point is, if someone else is bad, it's not your business.
Wait, where did you just talk about being bad? All you said is beating a wife.
Well, I think that beating a wife is bad, okay? I think it's real bad, but I also think it's none of your business if I do.
Oh, but I think it is, because, you see, then you're also saying, you know, I'm really confused, because we discussed the other day about beating corporal punishment in the schools. You know, where does that differ? You know, you're dealing with a weaker person, basically, as a whole.
Where it differs is you should set a good example, not tell people how to be.
I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. However, there are certain people who do not understand anything else but continue beating their wives or
insofar
kids.
as the beating the children, I mean, I'm calling for nonviolence, so therefore there would not be a law to beat children in schools.
Well, you're underestimating the people. You have to have the education first, and we don't have that. I mean, in other words, it is horrendous what you're saying.
Oh, what I'm saying is horrendous.
Well, I think it's horrendous what you're saying about the beating of women. I'm really surprised because I agree with you on most issues.
I am not calling for the beating of women. What I am calling for is...
But you say it's all right, and it's no one's business.
I didn't say it was all right.
Well,
I did say that's correct. It isn't any of your business.
Okay,
if there are bad people, then there are bad people.
Don't you think that that's the reason for our society to be what it is? The fact that maybe some girl is being beaten underneath your window or raped, and we're saying, well, it's none of my business. I'm not going to go down there and help. Don't you believe that that's the reason why our society is falling on its face? Because we are not involved. We should be involved in things like that.
What we should be involved in is setting good examples, not prescribing punishments after the fact.
No, I agree with you on that, but I do not agree with you on the fact that it's none of our business, because the time when it becomes our business, if you, as a human being, are inflicting pain or hardship on someone else, then it is no longer your right.
Well, wait a second. You are making in doing that a decision that you know what's going on when you don't know what's going on.
Well, I think
maybe the person who's being beaten did something to deserve being beaten.
No one deserves to be beaten.
That isn't your decision to make, nor is it my decision to make.
Well, Bob, you know, we really strongly disagree on that, very, very strongly, and I'm very disappointed, to tell you the truth, because up to this point, I mean, you know, I had almost no reason to call in because I agreed with you on most issues. But this one, I think, is outrageous of what you're saying. Do you realize what license you're giving a lot of men who are prone to do this anyway?
I'm not giving anybody any license. I'm calling for a nonviolent society, but I'm also calling for a society that treats everybody the same. And if it isn't any of our business what's going on in Nicaragua, then it's none of your business what's going on under your window. But thank you just the same, TJ. FLA.
How you doing, Bob?
Fine, thank you.
Bob, I tried that milk of human kindness myself, and you know what? It kind of backfired on me. I took a family in off the street. They were from the north, and I had known them. They were looking for a home down here. I told them they could move in my house until they found another home for themselves. And they did. I moved in with my mother and father because I live alone. I have a 6-room house, 2 bathrooms, 3 bedroom, etc. They destroyed my home. The mattresses all had to be replaced because they were defecated on. The sheets, they didn't do a bit of laundry. There were 2 television sets.
So what? You did the right thing.
They were totally broken.
So what? You did the right thing.
May I continue, please, Bob? I just want to go on. A very short minute. The Revereware was all blackened on the inside and the outside because they popped popcorn and never cleaned a thing. They broke dishes. My refrigerator looked like it had been, looked like a herd of elephants ran through it.
I think we get the picture, but you did the right thing.
They ruined my home.
I think we've already established that, but you did the right thing.
Then the man borrowed my tools. $2,000 worth, which I've never gotten back. Now, I tried. Now, when I talked to your producer, I said I was a WASA. W-A-S-A. I am a white Anglo-Saxon agnostic. That's WASA. And I'll tell you what. The milk of human kindness is curdled. Now, I've said my piece, and I'll listen to you, and I would like to reply to whatever you're going to say against what I have done, because I really tried. I let that man use my automobile, my truck.
Well, I've just told you, you did the right thing. You know, if you had a bad experience, such as life.
I did the right thing, and I had the bad experience.
And you should continue to do the right thing.
Should I do it again?
Yes, you should.
I should. And have the same thing happen? Bob, how many times can you get stepped on? How many times do you want your body tromped over? I mean, it's ridiculous. You try to help people, and you know what they turn around and do? Believe me, you know exactly what they turn around and do. And then they tell you, I had to have repairs done. And the guy had the guts to come in and say, I can fix it all up for $800. But he is the one who ruined it. Now, Bob, please tell me, where is the milk of human kindness? And
he probably needed the money.
Great monologue. It was really heart-touching. But I believe that, the person can be whatever they can be. If the person is sleeping on the corner of the street, that's the way he wanted to be.
Nobody sleeps on the corner of the street because he wants to.
No. I mean, that person did not want to educate himself. He didn't want to use his brain to think.
Maybe he wasn't able to. And it's insufferable that some man sleeps in a $10,000 brass bed and somebody else sleeps on the street corner. Insufferable. It's immoral. Can't be.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
I'm a foreigner, okay? I came into this country when I was 19. And
why you should have wealth and somebody else sleep on the street corner?
No, okay. See, the point I'm trying to say, that person, I mean, well, I believe we got the same amount of the brain. We got the things to think. But that person did not want.
All you're doing is justifying to me your own greed. We don't all have the same amount of brain. We don't all have the same abilities. But we all have the same needs. We all have the need to sleep under a roof that doesn't leak in a bed that's warm with a hot meal under our belts.
That's correct. Okay.
And all you're doing is making excuses for your own greed.
No, okay, let me say something else. then if everybody's going to be equal, where's the competition is going to go? If I'm going to be...
Whoa, what do you mean, where's the competition? Where the hell's it chiseled in stone that there should be competition? What is chiseled in stone is that no one should have their basic needs unfulfilled. That's what's chiseled in stone. There's nothing about competition chiseled in stone.
No.
Because you want to play a game and keep score with money is no reason.
If I work harder, I make more money. That's correct. I mean, are you saying the doctor should make as much as money as I am making? Or...
I'm saying that no one should have their basic needs anyplace unfulfilled. That's what I'm saying. And just because you want to play a game and keep score with money at somebody else's expense, I'm sorry, that's immoral. That's wrong.
100% agree with you. I mean, but it's just, you know, there's got to be somewhere, you know, if you work hard, I'm agreed to 100% to, you know, to helping people. And
what's more important, having money in the bank, having nice furniture, having an expensive car, or having the knowledge that you've done something to help your fellow man? What's more important to you?
Sure, helping the fellow, you know...
Give me a break. You're lying through your teeth. It's more important to you to have the nice car. You don't care about the guy sleeping out in the gutter. He already told me he wants to be there because he didn't work hard enough. Who you trying to kid? Maggie in Clearwater. Hi, Maggie.
In Nicaragua is a crime in our society because it's not a declared war.
It's none of your business. It's happening for a reason.
What?
It's happening for a reason, and who are you to determine whether or not that reason is just?
I'm not talking about justice. I'm talking about the laws of our society.
Which rarely have anything to do with justice. It still isn't any of your business.
Bye.
Bye. Let us go now in Palm Harbor. Hi, John. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hello. Bob.
Yeah.
I guess you should give up your pay then, too. Is that the idea?
Should I give up my pay?
Yes.
I should not be earning as much as I do.
Well, then why not give it up?
I'll give it up when you give it up, John, and I intend to see to it that you give yours up.
You're going to see to it that I do.
Yes, I do. I intend, John, to spend the rest of my life working for what I've talked about this afternoon.
I do work for that. I get paid for what I do, but I work for what you're talking about.
Well, I'm glad that you work, John. I want you to work, but I'm also aware of the fact that there are other people who work in this country who don't have as much as you do, and that's not right. Where is it chiseled in stone that your labor is worth more than the labor of somebody getting $3.35 an hour?
Well, who says I don't?
Where is it chiseled in stone that you should have material goods far and above your basic needs while someone else doesn't?
I understand that. I'm not making more than the next man. I'm just saying I am making money. I work towards those kind of things.
Am I to understand that even though you're downtrodden, you want to keep the system the same just in case you luck out? Just in case you figure out a way to enrich yourself at somebody else's expense?
If I worked for a certain value, how is that taking away from somebody else?
I'm talking in this particular case about the profit motive. It is taking away from someone else because the receptionist can't be paid as much as the sales manager.
Why not?
Because the sales manager gets all the money and there's not enough left for the receptionist. And that's not right.
If we paid the receptionist the same amount as the sales manager, things would cost a lot more.
I'm not suggesting that the sales manager get as much, I'm not suggesting that the receptionist get as much as the sales manager. There are a hell of a lot more receptionists than there are sales managers.
Okay.
A hell of a lot more of them. I'm suggesting that everybody first have their basic needs fulfilled. Then when that has been accomplished throughout the world, then we can worry about perhaps seeing whose job is worth a little bit more.
Who should provide those basic needs?
Who should provide them? We should provide them. You and I.
You and I?
You and I.
Through
It's only basic humanity.
Through what means?
What do you mean through what means?
What do you do for the basic needs of the human being?
I'm going to work the rest of my life to see to it that they're fulfilled. Grace and Largo, hi, you're on the air at WFLA.
He just stole my thunder, and I heard your stupid reply, so there's no sense in going through it.
Oh, my stupid reply, huh? Another subhuman pig. Yeah, enrich yourself, pig, while somebody else is sleeping in the gutter. Right. Oh, what a great American. What a great human being. Done in the way it ought to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, isn't that communism in its purest form?
Yeah, right. Bring up the old communist word. Right. Try to discredit everything I've said with
No, I'm
communism,
not trying to
communism,
discredit.
communism. Carlos in Plant. Right. There's only room for Baltic Place. Greg in St. Petersburg. You're on the air at WFLA.
Yeah, well, like the old saying was back in the early 70s, you either love it or you leave it.
Yeah, I'm going to see to it that you do.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm going to see to it that you do if you don't go along with me.
Right,
because I am right and you are wrong. I have the truth and you don't.
Right, I'm glad you're not in the majority. That's all I can say. I'm glad you're in a minority because what you're talking about will never happen.
What I'm talking about is wrong.
Marxist-Leninist views.
Greg?
Yeah.
Didn't you recognize the Sermon on the Mount? I don't agree with it either. Believe hardly anything I said. There's a big difference between you and I. I admit it. We'll talk about the Sermon on the Mount in the remaining 2 hours of this program. Don't go far. Really?
He let them go, remember?
Yeah, but angels have all kinds of powers that mere mortals don't.
Okay, that's a little bit of a cop-out, but that's okay.
No, it's not a cop-out at all. I'm just, giving you back your material.
Okay, well, let me ask you something. Do you feel that this is the last days? Or do you feel like we're going to...
Do I feel that these are the last days?
Right. In other words, have you ever read Revelation?
Well, sometimes when you understand the politics of the radio station, you might, feel that way. But in general, in the world, no.
Okay, well, I would like to challenge you. I would like to challenge you to honestly, without any music around, just a real calm time, to read Revelation in the Living Bible.
Oh, I have. I've read it a number of times in various different versions.
Like read it. I mean, quietly for 20 minutes, get into the easy reading part, not the King James, the Living Bible.
Oh, you want me to read the one that cleans it up a little bit?
No, it's just easier reading without the V's and thous.
Well, I beg your pardon. I'm quite able to read the King James Version.
I know, but I'm just asking.
Reasonably intelligent man.
I'm challenging you to read.
I've read it a number of times, ma'am, in various different versions.
King James, right?
No, I have 5 different Bibles. Everyone is a different version.
Oh, gee, now I can tell you haven't read it, so you shouldn't have said that.
What do you mean you can tell me I haven't read it?
Because I know the difference in that argument's like the first argument people give when they're first starting out reading the Bible, when you talk to hundreds.
Well, ma'am, I'm not first starting out to read the Bible. I've read it for years, a number of times now.
Okay.
And some portions of it, dozens of times.
Let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. In the last days, who's the leader that's 666? If you have the guts on this station, I love this station, I know you do. Who is the leader that's going to be the colors of purple and gold?
Gee, I don't know, ma'am. Who do you think?
Well, I mean, don't you ever have a thought on that?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay, it's supposedly of 7 hills, and it's a church, and he's supposed to have a...
Oh, the Pope? So you're talking about the Pope?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
so the Pope is the Antichrist.
That's right.
Gee, the Pope has been around for a couple thousand years.
Yeah, and he has supposed
Of course, the Pope, according to the Bible, the Antichrist doesn't come until the very end, but the Pope has been around for a number of years.
Now the Antichrist comes right before Christ comes, and there's an imitation Christ right before it. Okay, so people that are speaking in tongues that act like they're falling on the ground and have all these strange things and are charismatic and line up with the Pope, they're the ones that are getting the power. And
what about the people who are speaking in tongues and roll around on the ground and line up with Ernest Angley?
There exists in Tampa, and it doesn't exist in other cities, in some cities, but not where there's a lot of money and people that have been falsely accused where they can fight it. And there's the oppression of a police state in many places it's getting worse all the time.
Do you lay in bed at night and wonder whether or not there's a pirate with a long sword under your bed?
Oh, no.
Can't imagine why not. Barry in Pinellas, WFLA.
Yes, you were talking before about money.
Yeah.
And you said that money is the root of all evil.
No, that's not what I said at all. I said the people say that.
Okay, well, it's a misquoted scripture anyway. It's the love of money is the root of all evil.
Oh, you hate money then?
No, there's a big difference. It doesn't.
Well, now, wait a second. Do you love it or hate it?
Okay, let me talk.
I asked you a question. I'll let you talk when you answer my question.
Let me talk.
You'll answer my question now, please.
All you're trying to do is act.
You will answer my question now, please. Do you love it or hate it?
I don't. No. The Bible says the love of money.
You're indifferent to money then.
Okay, but also it says...
I'm asking a question, and I'm asking it for the last time. You love it, you hate it, or you're indifferent. Which is it, Barry?
You have to have money.
Let us go to Steve in North Tampa. Hi, Steve. You're on the air, WFLA.
Hi, Bob. How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
First of all, I'd like to...
And we're not talking about phone solicitors for the next 46 minutes. It was Dick Norman. Mick, I can well understand You know, Mick, you got me mixed up with Dick Dorman. We're very similar in style. And our time period's very similar, too. Well, I can understand that, Mick.
Are you the #1 rated talk show host?
That's correct.
All right. This morning on QZoo, I got up this morning. As I was getting dressed, I heard this. It said, this is a near quote. It said, according to a recent poll, I wrote this down. This is not exact, but it said, you are listening to the 2 of the most popular radio talk show hosts right here. They mention their names.
I couldn't care less what they say. Ray, I couldn't care less what they say. And they can say anything they want to.
Can't they arrest them or something for that? Is that like
arrest them, Ray?
What are they talking about? They didn't mention that.
Arrest them for it? Are you serious?
Can't they? Isn't that like false publication or something like that?
No, I did a poll here in the station this afternoon, and according to a poll here in the station, I am the most popular morning disc jockey in the entire market.
I listen to you all the time, and I said I ought to call them up and get on the air and say Bob Lassiter is #1, but I didn't because I had to go to work.
Thank you, Ray. By the way, according to a poll here in the station, Toledo Weaver and Douglas Harris are the least listened to DJs in the entire town. According to that poll right here this afternoon.
He'll furnish shelter for me, and he has. So that's what that's speaking of. He's already done these things. And just thank God. You should thank God.
Stand right here. Don't store up treasures here on earth where they can erode away or may be stolen. Store them in heaven where they will never lose their value and are safe from thieves.
That's true, and I am. I am storing up my treasures in heaven.
Ah, Stan, you're storing up your treasures in Clearwater.
No, these are things that God provided for me just as he provided for the birds.
Ah, Stan, the devil gave you those things. God wanted you to get rid of them.
Let me just say one thing, Bob, and I know you was asking the question, prove God to me. I can do that. If you believe in Jesus Christ...
I don't, Stan, you know that.
You'll be saved, and you repent of your sins, you'll be saved.
Stan, I'm not going anyplace. I don't have anything to be saved from.
Well... See, you'll never know God.
You're the one that believes in Jesus, Stan. If I were you, I'd be trembling in my boots. Hi, Kirby. You're on the air at WFLA.
Hey, Bob. How's it going?
Fine, thank you.
I got up this morning and turned my radio on, and turned it on QZoo and was listening to it, and they had the Morning Rise sermon. It sounded very similar to what you just, gave us for the last half hour. You sure you're dealing with the original material there?
Yeah, I'm quite sure, Kirby.
Are you positive?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounded almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what does this sermon that you just gave have anything to do with what you've been talking about all afternoon?
I think it has a great deal to do with it, don't you?
No, I don't know.
How's that, Kirby?
You're talking about heaven and hell. I thought what you've been talking about all afternoon is economics and morality.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what the sermon talks about.
Well, it's not exactly what you've been talking about all afternoon, all this hogwash you've been dishing out.
Oh, hogwash? Like what, Kirby?
Oh, before you went on the 2 o'clock breaking that, that guy that called up talking about playing Monopoly and how, if you had Boardwalk and Park Place, you won the game.
Well, that's what Jesus says. Don't store up your riches here on earth.
Yeah, but you can win Monopoly with railroads. And
no, Kirby, you wish to conveniently ignore what Jesus says. And you're mad at me for giving you the Sermon on the Mount.
No. I don't.
Ah, yeah, Kirby.
No,
come on, at least be honest with yourself.
And when you talk about religion, you say, I'm working for a living. And then, on the other hand, you're so hypocritical, and you say it's okay for these guys on their lazy tails, gimme. I tell you what, Bob, I'll sit on my lazy tail, and you gimme. Why don't you share some of your wealth with me?
What did I tell you, Kirby? I told you I don't believe in the book.
Well, I don't know. You got me so confused now with the sermon.
Oh, it's real easy to get you confused, isn't it, Kirby?
Oh, hey, Bob,
because you choose to ignore everything you've heard for the last 2.5 hours because it spits in your face. It pulls the rug out from underneath you, Kirby, and you're just damn mad you can't see straight, right?
No.
Right.
It's bird brain stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, bird brain stuff, Kirby, right. Sermon on the Mount.
Brain dead snowbird, remember? Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think I got one on the phone, Kirby.
You're a wimp. You're a big wimp.
Right. Are you going to do, the next time you're in church, Kirby, and they're reading the Sermon on the Mount, you're going to stand up and say, hey, preacher, you're a wimp!
No. Why don't you run down to your Nutrisystem here and get your little food in a bag, you can sit there. You said you weigh...
I got you so damn good, Kirby, you don't know if you're coming or going.
You said you weigh like 319 pounds, right? And to lose the weight that you're talking about, they'll charge you about $1,000. But no, you'll run down there and then you get on the radio and tell them, what great Nutrisystem is. and then you take your little pouches of
Right,
food.
Kirby. 2.5 hours of spitting in your face, and the best you can do is to try to accuse me of stealing material from the Q Zoo, and we all know who steals from who, and to knock Nutrisystem. Great, Kirby. I love it.
Hey,
you got the
Bob.
rest of the show, baby.
Hey,
Go
Bob,
for it.
Why don't you go beat your wife, okay? Make everybody happy. We'll leave you alone. We won't interfere.
Go for it, Kirby. Got the rest of the show,
I even
baby.
hear your squeaky chair there.
That's right. Guess what I hear, Kirby?
I thought you were
Guess
gonna
what
get
I
another-
hear, Kirby?
What?
The hollowness of your head.
Well, now, no doubt all over the Tampa Bay area, there are people saying, there it goes again. He's bashing Christians. Oh, he does it all the time. Well, that's not what I did today. Today we bashed hypocrites. And if you happen to fall into that category, there's nothing I can do about it. You see, there are things in my life that I believe in. Not all of them make sense, but I believe in them. And I do make well, as a matter of fact, I don't make every effort. I simply do what I believe in. Now, if you don't do what you believe in, how dare you be mad at me? How dare you be mad at me? You ought to be mad at yourself. You ought to be mad at yourself, not me. And if you're a little angry at me today for bashing hypocrites, you ought to sit down and think what you're angry about. I've taken the time and trouble to read it. If you haven't, it's not my fault. And if you've read it and hadn't comprehended what it said, hadn't thought about what it said, that's not my fault. I don't fault you for your beliefs. I fault you for your hypocrisy. Just as you would be quite right in faulting me for mine. Behave yourselves.